Hi guys, welcome to the Possibilities podcast. We're here again to do another reaction video, a little bit different from our previous videos. I'm here with Tim and Rob and myself, Mike. I myself haven't seen this video all the way through, but have seen bits. Yeah, I'd be interested to get your takes on it. Tell me when I can go, Tim.
Yeah, cool.
Have you seen this, by the way?
No, I've not seen it. Interesting.
Do you want to stop sharing
My
the screen?
first, yeah. My first thought was Wally. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Wally, where they basically destroy the planet. Um, you know, essentially, like, although I was like laughing at the beginning, like the comedic value of the animation, realistically, the humans are the bad guys there, destroying the environment, raping the planet, killing other animals, plants, everything. Just take. And then at the end, obviously, the alien comes, looks around, and sees nothing of value, and yeah, doesn't see any value in the human either. Hence, turning them into a doormat.
I thought you were both. I thought you were both kind of laughing at first. It's a bit like you don't know where it's going, and at first it's quite innocent. It's just like, what's the first thing he did? Does he kill a badger or something, or shoots up from the sky? And you're like, but then you can see as it progressively gets worse and worse and worse. And I
Yeah,
thought that's what it
Yeah.
was, a bit like, oh, where's this going? Is it a bit comedy? And then, oh, hold on, this is actually what we've done.
yeah, it's because it's real. Like that's the
Yeah.
point. Like it's real. However, flipping it the other way, it shows nothing positive. So it's all from a negative, right?
Mm.
Over time. So it doesn't show anything like physical infrastructural growth. It's all geared towards like mass manufacture rather than, enablement stuff. Like the medicines were all geared towards experiments versus experiments on the positive. Like, so I think that whilst it's true and that stuff has happened, absolutely, like there's an undeniable. Um, yeah, I felt like it was lacking a little bit of perspective as well on the positive aspects that mankind has brought. Which, I mean, that's the whole point of the video. Like, it's how mankind destroyed, has destroyed, how man has destroyed the world. I think it was called. And so, yeah,
I think it, I think it the time period in it, so it shows. I felt like it showed how it started with innocent little things, and hence we were laughing, so like we didn't take it seriously.
yeah,
And then as the video progressed, it became less funny and more serious. And then I felt like
Mm.
the end of the video was like, this is where it's going. It's almost saying this is the future, this is what it will become. Because it's
for
showing a
sure.
pattern. There's no curb in that pattern. It just seems to be escalating and escalating, and so
Yeah,
it is quite a
You know,
negative message that way. But like
funny
no
enough,
hope
I
almost.
think we got to a point, we are at a point where we're towards the end of the video, but not actually there. And I do think people's attitudes have changed a little bit because, we've seen things like, what was it, like 20 years ago, the hole in the ozone, so we've changed the chemicals, we've changed this, we've changed how
mm-hmm.
we produce chemicals, drugs from animals and stuff like that. You're now seeing more buildings where they're putting trees on the rooftops and farming on vertical buildings rather than
Yeah,
flat land. So it's kind of slightly starting. Maybe it's quite far down the line. It'd be interesting in another 100 years if we kept the attitude. How much of that can we reverse and get back to tradition?
yeah.
I don't know.
It's like a bell curve, isn't it? Like, so we're
Yeah,
up here, like now we're slowly, hopefully, reversing those kind of
I think so. I hope so. I hope it carries on. We need the ocean cleanup. That was never something that was spoke about in the 90s. No
yeah.
one cared. Um,
Well, it's that challenge of wanting more, right? Like we've got that whole thing of we want more. What else can we do? But now it's what else can we do, framed from a lens of being sustainable as possible.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like the challenge now is, well, who actually can do the most sustainable, inventive kind of type of thing, whether it be an experience, whether it be technology or similar. And that's what's probably going to drive commerce ahead is jumping on. And you've seen with electric vehicles, right? Like the whole explosion of electric vehicles and the reduction of diesel and petrol consumption and all this sort of stuff. What kind of, um, but it's also quite a challenge because it's a little bit also towards the farming of the materials, right? The aggressiveness in the farming of materials is very reminiscent of that video. How we just take and destroy and stab, but it's there's a it's done with a line of positivity for a reason. Does that make sense? So, and whether or not it's because it's a bit of a mask and they lean on the positivity side of things and forget all the other bad stuff. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think like yeah, I know the lithium in the batteries is still
yeah,
it's
yeah,
still devastating to the environment and stuff. But I wonder if overall if that's the lesser of the two evils, and you're not going to get away from digging up the ground and stuff, but
yeah.
it's better than what we have been doing. Um, I still think you're going to be a need for potential animal testing or whatever it might be. But is it done under more controlled? Is it less than what it was, where it was just free reign? Let's attack this. Let's attack that. We've replant trees versus just cutting them down now. Uh,
Problem you've got is the human race is so massive, and geography creates and distance creates different cultures, and for different cultures, different things are important. So you could have people in the Amazon who appreciate their what they've got, and then you've got other people there who are like logging down things because they just want to make money for their families in different ways, or they just want jobs and they end up working for bigger conglomerates and things like this. I mean, you look at America, they're not going to stop rearing cattle, even though like the methane's meant to like be really bad for the environment. And they're like drill baby drill, like it's like I think, and even the car industry, that's not led by an ethical instinct. That's led by money. They've realised that the way that people are shifting, especially affluent people, the consumers, are looking at the environment as an important thing. So if that's important to them, it needs to be important to the manufacturers as well. So them moving to electric vehicles is not really for them around saving the environment. It's around them not losing a market share, them not missing out on people who believe in that, and that's important to. They want a bit of their money as well. They never want to. They'll never niche themselves down to just diesel. They want to miss out on that market.
I agree. Yeah. I think it is about market share and money more than anything. I mean, look at the emissions scandal. They just completely forged a load of stuff just to make them look better than what it was, and got caught out for it, rightfully so. I think I think they need prison sentences for people who were getting caught doing stuff like that, and it seems like that never seems to happen. Where they're caught out in these huge scandals, no one ever goes away for it, and it would promote the industry being more legitimate and doing the things for the right reason. My take.
Has this person who did the cartoon done a counter to this video? Do you know?
Are they which?
Have they done like a counter to this video, as in, destroyed mankind or destroyed the world? But then there's
Steve
the
Cuts.
hopeful version, yeah. Because I mean, this is real. That's there's no bones about it. That's correct, and as much as people probably don't want to see that, that's the reality of history and progress as we know it to get us to where we are today. Doing a reactions video on, online, right? Like the stuff that has happened has led to this. And it'll probably continue with the advancements in technology and whatnot. And then, like you said, there's an undercurrent of we don't show the behind the scenes. We only show, the positive spin, the branding, the identity related to certain things to keep market share, to keep interest, or to keep people feeling good about themselves that they're supporting something that matters, and not necessarily supporting farming and all this other stuff that's happening in the background.
So interestingly enough, I've just done a search for him on YouTube, and there's one here that says happiness, and it's called The Story of a Rodent's Unrelenting Quest for Happiness and Fulfillment. There's another one called The Turning Point, which maybe might be more positive, but the caption says it explores the destruction of the environment, climate change, and species extinction from a different perspective.
Should we have a look at that?
I'll put it on if you want. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. Are we ready for me to share straight out?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
check your audio a sec, Mike. Say hello. Check.
Hello.
Yeah, good.
Can you see this?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh. This reaction video for me now.
So he's got a genre.
My heart is free. My heart is free. No place where I would rather be. My heart is free. My heart is free. Until you come to rescue me.
Right.
You find me here, you find me here. You dry my eyes and shed a tear. You turn me bad, you turn me good. Forget to hope and learn to fear. Tell me that it's good if we do something, believe in something. I don't think I should. If it ain't nothing, if it ain't nothing good. My heart is free, my heart is free. No place where I would rather be. You find me here, you find me here. You dry my eyes and shed a tear. Tell me that it's good.
Bring tag 2. I like that.
Believe in something. I don't think I should. If it ain't nothing, if it ain't nothing good.
Interesting.
It's good.
Interesting.
I like the bit about it's almost like the generational thing. So you saw the little bear saw in the news that humans were becoming extinct, and he sort of like went to his dad, the older generation, and said, "Look, this is what's happening." The older one didn't care, because I think there is a bit of about you know it doesn't affect me. I'm too old. I'll be dead. It doesn't matter. Like that, I see a bit of that in the world at the minute. Is like the older generation, they worry about the younger generation, but they don't actually do anything about it. And you see that especially in like politicians and things as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting to flip it over to the animals, to the humans. But again, it is quite a pessimistic view, basically saying that ultimately,
Yeah.
even though a few people care and they, there's an uprising and things like that, save the humans, it's not enough to stop them becoming extinct. I think that's quite a negative view, isn't it?
I think that was a negative view of the police and the protesting, because police don't stop protesters; they stop disorderly conduct, and that they allow it. I don't know where they do just stop protesting, as long as it's done respectfully and that. So I've never seen them actively stop climate change activists and like, no, you're not allowed to protest it. They just want them to be orderly and stuff. As for enough saying about the older people, that they don't care, I would challenge that slightly, although I understand it. But the older people are generally the ones who are in charge of governments, councils, things like that. Yet, since we were growing up, we never used to recycle plastic, tin, glass, anything like that. That's all been introduced, which affects every household in the country. So I would say that they are making changes, albeit slow, very slow. And it also doesn't look at the positive that we do conservation areas and stuff, and it's a drop in the ocean, to be fair. It's not enough, but it doesn't cover any of that. It makes it out that they're shut down for protesters against the environment, but they're not really. They stopped from having angry protests.
I think in
Rob,
reality,
for it.
well,
I could see it winding up. Then I could see it.
I'm just thinking, this whole like both videos, the stuff won't stop because we're happy enough where we are as a species in many ways, right? Like we all like the comforts, we all like hot showers, we all like turning on the lights, we all like writing, on paper. If we're not going to write on paper, what's the alternative? We type emails, right? Well, to type emails, we need electricity, we need the BIOS chips, the hard drives, all this. Like there's no alternatives to living that does not consume the resources or drive if we want to improve productivity and all this stuff. Like move into a space of enhancement that doesn't consume is the point. And it's like we saw that person there, like faking happiness by buying stuff, material objects. That person in the living room just buying. And I think it's because as well. I mean, that's just we want more. Like we're built to want more. And I go back to your thing, Tim, around Amazonians and stuff. Not the company now, like the actual in the Amazon, like being happy and content. But it's because of exposure. That's another one, right? They haven't had exposure to what could be, and therefore, because we know what could be, we will drive towards potential, and therefore we will always be in this consumerist kind of. Like today we would not go back to going, you know what? I'm gonna have cold plunges and stuff. I'm gonna have a cold shower. Actually, it's not even gonna be in my house now. It's gonna be in the river outside here, or I'm gonna go to toilet in an outside toilet. We're not gonna step back, is what I'm saying. And at the expense of the environment. That's as a species, we're not gonna step back.
It reminds me of the lyric from James Sit Down when he says, "If I hadn't seen such riches, I could live with being poor." Once you know there's more out there, you want more. It's part of the human condition, and I think in terms of like the environment, we are as a species too selfish to save the environment and put something else external to yourself and your family and things as a priority requires selflessness. And how many selfless acts are there? You think of your day to day. How many things do you do that are selfless? I think as humans, we're quite self-absorbed, and it probably is like a part of our being that we look out for ourselves, like hunter-gatherer, that almost like that. You need to preservation. You need to look after yourself. You need to do that, and I think saving the environment, it's hard enough for one person to try and have that mindset of selflessness. To get billions of people to that same mindset is a massive challenge,
Just two things that come to mind is like that Amazonian tribe are content as they are, and I had this exact conversation with the missus. I know if you introduced them into the world as we know it, very few of them would probably stay. Maybe out of fear because it'd be such a change, but it is. And on the flip side, the idea of wanting more is why we are where we are now. Otherwise, we didn't. There'd be no progress. So and I said this to the missus, like, it's easy to sit there criticising, saying, "Oh, we would have been happy living in a tribe and that." But if we were, then why did we ever progress in the first place? It is absolutely human nature to want more. I'm going to have to just go off a second. You just carry on.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
And I think it's also there's a little bit around time in there. And what I mean by that is that our wants, needs, and expectations don't also align to the solves that we require to fix the current problem for environmental. Like
I hate consumerism.
Oh, very good. Like what I was saying as well, I think there's also another dimension of it, which is time. What I mean by time is like in 10 years, like to fix the current environmental problem will take a long time, right? 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever it is. If we stopped today, right? But our expectation and need and preservation, enhancement, whatever, they don't marry up. Like we'll want more to have more technological advancement to do this and this and this, which doesn't then, it's like a paradigm between what we need to stop to fix what we're already done. And that's what I'm saying. We won't stand still. Like we're not happy standing still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. It's funny. I seen. I don't know if this currently leaks. It probably would have been more relevant 2 minutes ago. I seen this video, and I think it's some activist in America, and they're in Congress, and the guy's like, he turns around and says, she's obviously protested against everything. Oil. It was through oil. He's like, right, well, and all the pipes, all the infrastructure, everything is come from form of oil. All your water, your sewage, plastic pipes comes from oil. Cars, oil. If in order, and she's like, well, we couldn't use something else. He says, well, we did. We used to use copper, but copper was bad for the environment, so we've changed it. This is, although it's not perfect, it's still the best of what we've got available today. So, yeah, I do think there's an attitude of people complain about these things whilst they're living in the benefits of what it brings.
Hypocritical. It's like when
Yeah.
people. It's like when people. I used to know, and this is just a personal experience, but I used to know a group of folks, and I won't name names, but it used to be very much like I'm a member of the. I'm for the people, right? I attend events. I charitable events. I will fundraise. I will flyer. I will do all these things. Yet, like, they're super rich, driving, the X5s, like going on the cruises and all these things. Yeah, it's like the reality does not, and that's not to say like you have to be like being quote unquote poor and trying to help the poor is also not necessarily a like viable solution. What I'm saying is it's just a like they're happy enough doing all these things to be seen to be doing it. The reality of it is like they'll go back and have it's like our celebrities now, right? So this charitable songs of the Christmas songs and all these things, right? Snow in Africa and all these kind of things. Like it's that notion of, well, you're trying to do that to fundraise, but if every person who supported that song's production gave a proportion of their wages, it would drive kind of enhancements or whatever it is versus what the money will make from the song itself. Like it makes no sense, right? So if I had 10 people, all very successful people, singing on an album or a song in order to raise money for a cause, why would they not just say, you know what, I believe in this cause so avidly, I will give 8% of my wages, of my fortune, to solve that problem, which would be more than that track would eventually produce. Do you understand?
I understand. Now, remember that game was on about Banished the other day, and the game is surviving of a village. I can buy food in every so often to keep my village going, but ultimately once it's been eaten, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to fix is the infrastructure of they need to produce their own food to be self-sustainable.
All that sort of stuff, yeah, correct.
So it's that phrase, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a night, teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I think giving them that money, although would help. By the way, actually, to be fair, whether it's the song or it's the money from the artists themselves, it's going to be the same thing. It's not going to fix the overall problem. It's mindset.
Sure.
But yeah, interesting.
My
the
point
thing I was going to mention.
It goes back to the hypocritical point, is what I'm saying. People are happy enough, to boycott and to do all these things. Yeah, like if you flipped it the other way and say, okay, well that's fine then. Just now live in a hut with no technology, no nothing. They'll be like, hell no, can't do that. It's I've got no security. I've got no running water. I've got no, it's sharp.
You just remember the conversation I had with my partner. That she's going on about things about in the island in the Caribbean, and I was like, it's easy to sit there criticising X, Y, Z when you're in one of the arguably richest countries, best social care, great health care, all that, and you're safe. You don't have to worry about someone bursting in and killing you. If you are that bothered about wanting to make a change, or you that feel strongly about it, I was like, go and live over there and do what you want to do over there. I said, but you're not going to last 2 minutes. It's very easy to sit there and protest against these things when you're living in the comforts it provides. Even the climate activists, they're wearing clothes, they were using signs, they're getting the message across through the internet. It's hypocritical, but I do think we need changes in mindsets. We need more people who are coming from the angle of we want to achieve more, but we want to do it and not ruin the environment at the same time. That's probably the mindset not filtered through enough yet.
I think part of the problem. Sorry. I was going to say part of the problem is those people that you're talking about. I feel like, for it like I said, it's not just an idea in one person's brain. It needs to be an idea in lots of people's brains, and having that spread is made more difficult by people executing their ideas badly. In terms of, think of Just Oil. So they're chucking soup over, the paintings and things like this. That doesn't make me think, right, oh yeah, oil, we need to stop using that and let's go to wind energy and things like that. It makes me think they're criminals. So I can't get into their headspace where they think that that's drawing positive attention to their cause. I don't think that's the way to do it. I think they've missed
I
it
agree.
completely there.
Yeah.
It annoys everyone, and actually it makes everyone think negatively towards that cause. So like that we're almost sabotaging ourselves as humans by
Yeah.
having people who think they're doing the right thing, but actually they I don't think they are.
I mean, I would hope in them sort of groups like your Just Oil and that they're not stupid people. There's going to be some bright minds in there. They would be better using those abilities and that mindset to find ways to invent better ideas. You know, like the people who've practically gone out and done it, and it's like, right, the guy who created the ocean cleanup, he built all that and demonstrated it worked, and it took off huge. That's the way to do it. Is in, look, don't
Yeah.
use oil. I mean, and I think that's what that Congress guy said. I said to you about the video. He said, "What else? How else would you maintain our infrastructure? What would you use for piping then to get water to all these places? How else would you do it?" And they didn't have an answer. You know, it's good to sit there and criticise, but it's kind of like we use the same philosophy in work. Don't just land a problem on my doorstep. Give me the problem and tell me what you think we should do to fix it. You know, it's easy to sit there and throw oil over paintings or paint, you know, but how about let's not do this, but why don't we try doing that instead? And they'll probably find most people are actually working on these things without them realising it if they actually put the time into it. I would hope so. I
Yeah,
don't know for definite.
they're not very solutions oriented, are they?
No.
They just
I
they
do think
just
it's an education thing as well. Like I thought about this
Yeah.
when we first watched the video around saving the planet. I think it's an education thing. Like I said, in America, you know, the you know the government, the higher powers, everyone's telling them eat meat, take these drugs, fill your car up with gas, diesel, petrol, whatever you want to call it, do all these things. And people are led and they believe that, and because people like to look to authority for like guidance. But I think it just needs to be a bit of like bit more independent thinking as well, rather than
yeah.
being a sheep all the time.
Like coming back, it, I think we always go with the easy option as well, right? Typically. So when you talk about eat meat, use these drugs, like that, well, yeah, because it's faster and it's easier. Like for example, Ozempic and all those things, right? People will take that because it's a fast route to weight loss, right? They've got a drug which will help you now, rather than just going, you know what, I will exercise more, I'll eat less. It's a caloric kind of deficit and
Yeah.
all those things, right? Because it's a faster route. Fast food is literally fast. They don't want to cook. It's easier for me to go and grab a burger, and it's in terms of the barriers to entry, it's very low. It's cost and things like that. I will just go and do that because it's more convenient to me. So everything is around convenience, and then like you said, like agencies and things like that will shape it so that it leans into ease and reducing kind of that
But
friction.
again, that comes back to selfishness, doesn't it? And self-preservation.
Exactly.
You're doing it because it's convenient to you, and you just think all those things that you're just thinking about yourself essentially. I think it's a
I'd
lot
be
harder to
interested-
think about the wider world.
I'd be interested to know your take on this, Rob. So do you guys know Andrew Tate is?
Yes.
Yes.
He had a video once. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this, but I can understand it. Where he said, there's no such thing as depression. They give you pills for I'm depressed. You get the pills rather than fixing the problem. And his answer was go to the gym, get a six pack, then come back in 6 months, tell me if you're still depressed. I'm not saying that's necessarily the answer, but you basically said, the easy option is I'll take the Ozempic, wherever, I'll lose weight. Do you think that's the same for I'll take depression pills rather than I'll fix the core of what's possibly making me down and depressed? Do you agree? Do you think that's the same?
I think it's it's a very complex topic in general, and I think that there's a little bit around kind of media push, and then there's like, because you spend that time and you do the gym 6 months, you completely identity change and you got the six pack and things like that. That doesn't necessarily like link directly to I feel better or I'm happier or because then it's the hedonic treadmill of, okay, so I've got my six pack now, what else, right? So I think it's so multifaceted that we probably need another video on it, to be honest. And I'd love to maybe go out and research it and jump back in. We could maybe even play that video. I think that'd be great to see what he says. But I think it's a very quick, like a quick statement to say, well, actually, exercise leads to endorphins, leads to increases in dopamine or whatever
That's what I was going to go down that route, yeah.
Which makes you naturally feel better, probably, right? But then there's layers of like clinical depression and things which aren't necessarily just solved with the byproduct.
PTSD as well.
There's a whole realm of things. I would love to do a video.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really, really interesting. But and again, our views are our own, of course. But
Disclaimer.
But yeah, I mean, there's truth in what the guy's saying. Like I said, absolutely. Like
I think it would help in some cases, definitely.
If you've gone from couch to 5K to marathon runner and things like that, then there's probably a difference in how you feel and how you think you'll be seen and perceived, because your identity has changed now to be a runner, or I'm a fitness, I'm a CrossFit person. You've created an identity change in yourself, right? Which then might cascade then to other things. It's like I'm now a runner, which means that I now eat healthier because it supports my runner, which now means I attend communities of people that run. I'm part of a running group, which now has changed my life because I've now got a bunch of friends that do the same thing, which might lead to other things downstream. So I understand what you're saying, but it's not a simple switch either, because I think it's more of a journey than it is like the thing around Ozempic. It's a bit around sustainability and putting things into place, which you have like an enablement framework that people who have the Ozempic, I don't want, again, it's a very, you've got to be careful with going down these rabbit holes, right? Because you don't want to say that Ozempic and things like that is a crux, because for some people that might be a necessary requirement, for example, to get you from place A to place B in terms of your journey of weight loss and stuff like this, right? And again, it can be seen as a tool, just like whey protein and all these other things are tools that could be helping you. But again, it's let's maybe jump into it in another video.
That's interesting. I could have gone on for that another 20 minutes. I had a couple of thoughts, but yeah. Okay, guys, if you like what you've seen and you want more content, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks very much.
Thanks again.
Cheers, guys.